Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Teller County Listens. This is a program that I and our county assessor put together, mostly the county assessor, to get with the community and discuss the reevaluations that are coming up soon and to answer any questions that you might have concerning those. So I welcome you to the Woodland Park Library. Again, my name is Michelle Petrozzulo. I'm the director of the Woodland Park Library and the Fluorescent Library and the Rampart Library District. So welcome to all of you this afternoon. I'm going to take a few moments to talk to you about the library. I know you're here to talk about the mill levy and what it will cost to you and the community, but I'm here also to talk about the value that that cost brings to you in terms of services in our community. The Woodland Park and the Fluorescent Library have been here, the new facilities have been here since 2003, and I wanted to share a little bit about our statistics concerning the library and the services that we have. And then once I'm finished, I'm going to let my adult services librarian, Jenny Dara, take over and talk to you a little bit about some of the programs that we have to offer here. I have to tell you that I've been with this library system, this library district, for 3 years. Prior to that, I was the director of the Niagara Falls Public Library in Niagara Falls, New York. And prior to that, I spent 15 years at the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I can say that this is the most beautiful library that I've been in. So I feel very privileged in the years of my working as a professional librarian. This is the most beautiful libraries that I have come across. So you're very, very fortunate to have these in the community. And I'm just going to share some of the statistics with you as to where your money goes through. As far as visitors, since 2004, we've had 2,285,272 visitors. We average about 152,351 visitors per year, which is 418 visitors per day. Since 2004, we've had 2,565 library materials circulate, 6,904 library programs, or an average of 460 library programs per year, with 154,220 program attendees, with an average of 10,281 attendees per year. So I think that's pretty impressive in terms of statistics for libraries. And as I said, I've worked in libraries for a very long time. One of the things that impresses me about the Rampart Library District is that we are considered a community center here in Woodland Park and in Fluorescent. And for professional libraries, I can tell you that's a huge challenge for public libraries today. A lot of libraries are struggling. A lot of libraries are struggling with usage and to get any kind of recognition in the community. And for these two libraries to be considered community centers, it's really important and it's very significant in terms of what we are offering our community. So I thank you all for your support. And if this is your first time in the library, I encourage you to stop at our circulation desk and apply for a library card. I've brought some applications. They're back in the back. There's also a brochure that will explain to you some of our library services that we have. And I also want to take a brief moment to mention to you, and I forgot my panel today, but one of the projects that I personally work on is a project called Letters Home, A History of War Through Letters. And I'm working with the community to tell individual stories of people who've been through war and who've had correspondence with family members and friends. This year I had 36 panels on exhibit here at the Woodland Park Library. That exhibit is now over at the Fluorescent Library until the end of May. I sent it over there because we do have a Veterans Breakfast on May 18th at the Fluorescent Library. So if you know any veterans or you are a veteran yourself, you're more than welcome to come to that breakfast. It's a great program that we have for the community. You'll get a lot of information as well as get to talk with other veterans in the community. So I encourage you to do that. If you know of any veterans with letters, or you are a veteran yourself with letters, I encourage you to participate in the next exhibit that I'm having. And there are applications and informational flyers over on the table as well. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Jenny Dara, our Adult Services Librarian. Thank you.
just want to let you know basically all the things that we do for adult services in the library. Once a month we have a self-help legal clinic that you can make an appointment with me. It's a Skype type thing. The person that does it is an attorney that lives out in Elbert County, and he can see you basically if you know what Skype is. You can speak back and forth. Nobody else is in the room with you, so nobody else knows your business. It's been pretty successful here. Now we only have about an hour, so you have about a 15-minute session, but you can keep coming back month after month if you need to, and he will encourage that. We've helped a lot of people with divorces, by the way. I also have a program coming up in May 8th, 6:30 in the evening. It's a gentleman that's written a book on hiking on the Front Range. Lots of hiking trails that he is knowledgeable about in Teller County, and he'll be doing a presentation right here on the 8th at 6:30 at night. We have my book club, Senior Circle Book Club, but apparently now you don't have to even pay that $5 for a lifetime membership to become part of the Senior Circle, so feel free. We have a great time in there, and if we don't like the book, we just chat about stuff. So on the same day that we have the Veterans Breakfast out at Florissant, I have the Woodland Park Community Singers here at noon in conjunction with that. Also, everything goes into the Grapevine, so if you remember the Grapevine, you can see that. Every other month, we have the AARP classes here for anybody that's over 50. The thing that made me the most mad in my whole life was when our insurance agent asked my husband if I had had an AARP class. So we do things all the time. I try to do a program once a month. Once a year, we have the local author showcase in October. I've done everything from a friend of mine came in to do a presentation on UFOs, and I can tell you what, we exceeded the fire code in this building on that night. So it tells me that people in Teller County are really interested in UFOs. And if you have any reference questions, any kind of information you need, that's what I'm upstairs for. Sometimes people think I'm just sitting there, I don't know, twiddling my thumbs behind my desk, but that's basically what I'm there for, along with the other things that I have to do. So that's all I have.
Thank you very much, Jenny. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you our County Assessor, Colt Simmons, and the Deputy Appraiser, Mike Akana. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Colt Simmons, County Assessor for Teller County, and thank you for coming. A couple rules of engagement here this morning. That I like to always comment on what my fellow treasurer says, or Salusta, when it comes to presentations and briefings, as we would say in the service. Be on time, be brief, be thorough, and be gone. That's what we're going to do. But we're here to be also, like I said, to be thorough. So if you got questions and comments, please ask. We are here for you. And I think you'll find that our presentation this morning will be quite illuminating. I'd like to just take a little bit of a minute right here, and Jay, if you don't mind panning a little bit, but we have a good amount of our staff here from the Assessor's Office. And if it's okay, I'd like us to give them a vote of thanks for all the hard work that they've done this month and this year. Great people. We'll be tag teaming this presentation, mostly with Mike. And Mike Khan is the deputy in the office. And if you're watching this on the web, today is, what is today? April 25, 2019, and it's about 11:40 right now, 11:45. So to those in the audience, if you have questions or comments and you're seeing this, this video, you got questions during the week, give us a call. And we'll have the phone number on the last slide, but please remember to give us a call. 4 primary functions of the Teller County Assessor's Office. Slide 1, discover, locate and identify property. 2, classify, categorize according to class and subclass. 3, list, record keeping of all county property. 4, and last, value, very important, to estimate the actual value and apply the appropriate assessment rate to determine the assessed value.
Good morning. So the 2019 reassessment. Why reassess? Colorado statute directs county assessors to conduct revaluations in every odd-numbered year. Colorado law directs all 64 county assessors to analyze sales data and adjust all qualified sales to the market conditions that existed on what is commonly referred to as the appraisal date. The appraisal date for this reassessment is June 30th, 2018, and that comes from 39-1-104-10-2 and 39-1-104-10-2A. So what were the major influences on the 2019 reassessment? Number one, market acceleration in the Colorado Front Range residential real estate market. Number two, innovation and improvements coming to the assessor's office. So let's start with some Front Range real estate current events. And what I'd like to point your attention to is this is an article from January 2017. So we're starting out a little bit back in time. Title of the article, Housing Momentum in Colorado Moves Down the Front Range. The Colorado Springs housing market exploded last year. Elbert, Huerfano, Pueblo, and Teller counties, along with El Paso, ranked on top for market acceleration. This is according to a Denver Post analysis of single-family home statistics provided by the Colorado Association of Realtors. Pikes Peak area real estate current events. Colorado Springs ranks number 6 among the nation's hottest housing markets from November. And this is an article dated December 6th of 2018, so it's more current. The Springs has made the Realtor.com hottest markets list several times in recent months, as the area's surging economy and job growth have heightened the demand for housing. That's led to strong home sales and rising prices. Teller County real estate current events. Here's an article from March 7, 2018 in the Pikes Peak Courier. Teller County real estate market remains hot. I'm going to highlight a little portion of the article. For potential buyers of lower price categories of 150 homes in the market today, none is under the $350,000 category listed in Woodland Park. And that's a significant number. So here's a slide with some data from the Pikes Peak Multiple Listing Service. And I know it's hard to see, but what I want to focus your attention to is July 2016. The median sales price was $246,000. Let's fast forward to June 2018. The median sales price is $325,000. Back up a bit. That's a percentage change of 32%. Some more Teller County real estate current events. This, once again, is from the Pikes Peak Association of Realtors data. And this is just looking at a comparison of 2017 to 2018 data from December. The average sales price went from $282,593 to $344,605, or a plus 21.9% in 1 year. The median went from $259,000 to $310,000, or a plus 19.7%. If you take that 19.7 per year appreciation and divide it by 12 months, that equals 1.6% a month based on this data. So let's talk a little bit about the nature of appraisal. And we have some pretty extensive information in this next slide that talks about what we look to as the industry's leading experts on this subject. First one is the Appraisal Institutes. The Appraisal of Real Estate 14th edition basically quotes, an appraisal is the act or process of developing an opinion of the value of an asset. The International Association of Assessing Officers, or IAAO, in its publication, The Mass Appraisal of Real Property, further states that appraisal is the act of estimating the value of a property, has its roots in economic theory. Modern appraisal theory views market value or probable sales price as determined by the forces of supply and demand. IAAO further states that price is determined and actual market transactions can provide sound evidence of the market value of similar property. Let's revisit Colorado law. Why adjust for time or market conditions? Colorado statute once again directs all 64 county assessors to analyze sales data and adjust qualified sales to market conditions that existed on what is commonly referred to as the appraisal date. The appraisal date for this reassessment is June 30th, 2018. Colorado law is further interpreted by a 2011 Colorado Court of Appeals case, Kidder versus Chaffee County, in which the court ruled that adjustment for time under subsections 10.2a and 10.2d is not discretionary but mandatory. So here's some of the data that the assessor's office analyzed. In July of 16, sales price per gross living area square foot was $171. So fast forwarding to June 2018, it's now $222, or a percentage change of 30%. So all of the data that's being analyzed is all pointing to the same conclusions, right around that 30% number. So here are our time rates that we extracted from the Teller County market. The median per month is 1.085, or just a little less than 1%. The average is the same. So if you take that rate across the 24 months, from July 1st, 2016 to June 30th, 2018, you'll see the time adjustment is 26.04% on the average. Now I want to be very, very specific. We adjust for time based on area, not just overall county. Woodland Park has a time adjustment. Cripple Creek has a time adjustment. The rural portions of the county have a time adjustment. Victor has a time adjustment. It's appropriate to adjust for time in different market segments because, quite frankly, the market moves differently. So let's get back to some of these improvements and innovations that we talked about on our earlier slides. How do we improve and innovate? Where do we start? Well, for us, it's always back to basics. Basics often are referred to as fundamentals. Fundamentals of mass appraisal are put out by an organization called IAAO, the International Association of Assessing Officers. Colt Simmons and myself are both members of this organization. And some of the things that they state is both single property and mass appraisers need to study and understand market forces affecting real estate markets. These forces can operate on a global, regional, local, and neighborhood level. Market forces affect both demand for and supply of real estate. Mass appraisal models are built utilizing currently accepted modeling techniques and calibrated using multiple regression analysis. This is a scatter plot or a graph of sales price by gross living area square foot. As you can see, the larger the gross living area square foot generally, the sales price increases. Another big innovation for us is the utilization of ArcView GIS as a primary tool in all assessor office functions. Now the office has been using GIS for years, but what we've done is we've ramped it up a little and now we're using it to do value review analyses. And it also includes using it in our sales verification, valuation review, and eventually it'll become the primary tool in our data collection and inspection process. We've also worked on some of our in-house software systems. What you see here is a screenshot of the Assessor Office software system, enhanced and built by Teller County staff analysts that allow for valuation models to be utilized, reviewed, and understood by staff appraisers in the office. Valuations rely on property characteristic data collected by assessor staff, field appraisers. Timely data collection and accuracy is vital point of emphasis in the assessor's office work, process, and protocols. Why is accurate and consistent data so important? Well, the first one is quality. How accurately does the property's recorded information reflect the current status of the property? Quantity. Is the data sufficient enough to reflect local real estate market influences? So, regardless of how we build valuation models, if the data going into the model is not so good, the results that come out of the model are not going to be so good, even if the model is calibrated perfect. Why do all available property characteristics have to be analyzed? Well, a valuation model using only size or square foot as the primary variable will predict sale prices. However, it will treat all homes with the same size equally.
I went to the website and looked at my own house, And I looked up my own house, which is less than 1 year old, and there were 2 errors on
Okay.
it. One, it said I have forced air, I don't, I have a boiler. And the other one was vinyl siding, and I don't, it's steel. So I don't know how that happened, because I let in assessors to look around, I talked to them on the phone, and I was really surprised to see that. And I don't know, how do you go about correcting it?
Just give us a call and we'll review the property. I mean, it's possible that maybe they looked at the siding and, you know, sometimes vinyl and steel are pretty similar. So they just, you know, made an assumption it was vinyl, and we can get that corrected. The heat type, you know, sometimes it's tough. We, a lot of times, look at permit data and what the permits say, so it may be that the permit didn't reflect it, or maybe we just made an error. I mean, by all means, we're not perfect, but we'd love to correct it. Please give us a call, and we'll be happy to do that. Because it will affect the value. And actually, I'll give you an example.
It'll probably make things go up.
For the hot water heat, it will.
But I want it to be accurate.
No, and we appreciate that. But it definitely, the hot water heat is typically a premium in most valuation models that I've built. Yes, sir.
How do you account for things other than square feet, such as 3,000 square feet on a quarter acre is not worth near as much as 3,000 feet on 10 acres, versus views, versus roofing and siding and all that? Are there percentage factors put in?
So the way it's accounted for is basically when we utilize, and the primary tool that we utilize is multiple regression analysis, it allows us to isolate the contribution for the variable. So your first question was about size or scale on properties of different size. And that is actually a really good question. So what we do is we utilize a type of modeling that allows us to calibrate exponentially or curvilinear, right? Because as we all know, real estate markets don't move linearly or per square foot. They have a tendency to move exponentially or in a curve. And what I mean by that, the larger the size of the property, and let's just use the land example, you're going to pay less per acre or per land square foot. And that's something that typically always holds true as long as all the attributes and characteristics are equal. Same location, same view, same topography, stuff like that. So that's typically how we account for it. We have adjustments for bathrooms based on count, roof type based on the cover of the roof, age, and we use effective age, and that way we consider remodels, and what they do is they adjust the year built, which changes the effective age, not necessarily the actual age.
What about fire mitigation?
Fire mitigation, we don't really collect it right now, quite frankly, other than we have a ground cover land attribute, which basically says minimal, heavily treed, average. So we measure that, and that actually came in as an adjustment in our vacant land model, but not the improved residential.
If it's heavily treated, is it more valuable or less valuable?
Actually, it is a discount. It's the moderately or typical treed ones that aren't the adjustment. And of course, the minimal or no trees is a discount. And that's what we typically see when we're analyzing the sales data.
Thank you.
You bet. So let's get back to talking about property characteristics. Here's some property characteristics typically used in valuation models. Square foot living area, basement area, upper floor area, quality grade, land acres or square foot, design type, effective year built, bathrooms, garages and carports, condition, location adjustments, roof type. And these are just some of them. So what does this all mean? What are some of the preliminary numbers? Using residential properties as an example, the median change experienced in estimated market value will be 32%. A very familiar number because you saw all of our data points, not just from our analysis, but from other analyses and other sources were clustering in the same place. The overall dollar amount of change on the same properties will be 34%. Not all properties will change at the same rate as shown in the next slide. using a sample of 12,679 residential properties, 1,985 properties will change 10% or less. 1,840 properties will change between 11 and 20%. 2,876 properties will change between 21 and 30%. 1,473 properties will change between 31 and 35%. 1,198 properties will change between 36 and 40%. 1,470 properties will change between 40 and 50%. And 1,867 properties will change 50% or more. So what's driving all of this? Everything we analyze nationwide, and of course we all know that there's a lot of surveys out there, there's a lot of analysis done, but one constant that keeps coming up is that Denver and Colorado Springs are among the top, and I'm not going to use 3 because this is just one analysis, but they're always coming up in the top 10, top 5, top 6 places to live in the United States. This is perhaps the most interesting slide to me as an analyst. And what I want to point your attention to, and this data is from the Federal Housing and Finance Agency. So what's really interesting to me, Colorado was tracking closely with the rest of the US between 9, 10, 11, and then right around 13, look at the divergence that started happening. And it just keeps widening. So Colorado housing prices relative to everything else is just steadily increasing. And it's starting to even get in the neighborhood of what we see in New York and California and some of the coastal stuff. It's pretty amazing. So let's look at some local market data examples in Delaware County. So let's focus to the Divide area in Highland Lake subdivision. We had 49 qualified sales in 24 months. The 2017 to 2019 median value change is 31.76%. The June 30th, 2016 median time adjusted sale price was $239,000. On June 30th, 2018, it's $335,000. So the market has a median sale change of 40%, which reflects the value change of 31.76. Woodland Park, Sunnywood Manor subdivision, 36 qualified sales. 2017 to 2019 median value change of 30.68%. The June 30th, 2016 median time adjusted sale price of $288,919. On June 30th, 2018, the median time adjusted sale price moves to $379,964. A market median sale change of 31.51%. Cripple Creek. I pulled sales from Freeman Placer. We had 12 qualified sales. The 2017 to 2019 median value change, 26%. The June 30th, 2016 median time adjusted sale price, $112,500. June 30th, 2018 median time adjusted sale price moves to $147,775. A market median sale change of 33%. Victor, 31 qualified sales, pulled the sales from the entire town. 2017 to 2019 median value change of 23%. On June 30th, 2016, the median time adjusted sale price was $112,500. 6/30/2018, the median time adjusted sale price, $136,200, showing a market median sale change of 22%. So in these examples, and the first 4, I really just pulled at random trying to show each area. So you can see that the median change in values reflects the median change in the sale prices in the market. The next one I pulled, I was looking for an area that is in an affordable segment. So let's look to Florissant and talk a little bit about Crystal Peak. We had 8 qualified sales. The 2017 to 2019 median value change is 40.37%. June 30th, 2016, the median time adjusted sale price was $175,845. June 30th, 2018, the median time adjusted sale price moved to $263,270 of a 49.72%. And one of the reasons this slide was put in is if we go back, we talked about not all properties will change at the same rate. So as you can see in the affordable segments, the market change is much greater. And I use the example of Crystal Peak just to show how the analysis was done. So let me get back to where I was. What does this mean to residential taxpayers? The June 30th, 2018 median time adjusted sale price for Teller County is $320,000. And it varies by area of the county. In Woodland Park, it's $365,508. In Cripple Creek, it's $152,449. In Victor, it's $123,500. In rural unincorporated areas of the county, it's $298,418. Here's an example calculation of the typical residential property based on the median time adjusted sale price of a residential property in Teller County. 2019, $320,000 market value. $320,000 multiplied by 0.0715, which is the projected residential assessment rate, dropping down from 7.2%, equals $22,880 assessed or taxable value. $22,880 multiplied by 63.836, which is the median county mill levy. And of course, we take those mills to the thousands, so really we're multiplying by 0.063836. The property taxes that are calculated are $1,460.57. Any questions?
Let's give Mike a hand here. Okay, Q&A. Yes, ma'am.
Just curious if you guys have any data like this to share for commercial properties.
Yes, we do. Commercial properties typically or generally follow residential market, but we did have an increase, and right now the median increase is about 8 to 10%. I mean, commercial's tough in Teller County, and quite frankly, we have a lot of work to do on our commercial data, and we're going to be looking to do that work. What it's going to consist on is data collection, not just in the field, but of the improved properties, but also getting out there and talking to people that are in the commercial world, for example, commercial real estate brokers. What are leases? What types of occupancy rates do we typically see? What are the expense ratios in Teller County? So that we can start really building up our commercial data. But right now, we just don't have a lot of it. So we're looking at the market. In 5 years, we had about 36 commercial sales. And we're utilizing that to take basically our depreciated cost approach and our land values and estimate the values that way. And we're weighing heavily right now on that approach. Because quite frankly, we don't have a lot of what I would call consumable, usable income information to apply. And we're going to be working to do that. But the way to do that is to create relationships and discussions with the commercial property owners and community to try and get some of that information.
I'd like to comment that next week our notice of values go out, the NOVs, and if you're a property owner here, you'll receive an NOV. Have a good look at it, whether it's vacant land, commercial, residential. If you have questions about it, reach out to us. Give us a call, go on the website, visit us in Cripple Creek. We're here to serve you. There will be, for many people, as the slides have shown, significant changes. We reflect the marketplace. We absolutely reflect the marketplace. And that's what this presentation is about, is reflecting you all who are in the marketplace. We are a mirror. So this is what the marketplace is telling us. This is what the realtors are telling us. This is what the governments are telling us. I will note that in 1994, the Colorado population was approximately 3.5 million people. Today, it's about 5.6 million people. Most of those folks are scattered along the Front Range. The U.S. Census Bureau now includes Teller County as part of the larger El Paso County, Colorado Springs Metropolitan District. So as you have the Denver metro area with 7 major counties there now, and you have 3.5 million people in the Denver metro area with the 7 counties. Now, according to the Census Bureau, you have the Colorado Springs, the El Paso County, Teller County District. And right now there's about 750,000 folks living in these 2 counties. By the way, that is up from about 690,000 last year. So that's a significant change. Folks moving into this region. So our office, when the NOVs go out, those notice of values, everybody will receive those who are property owners. Please reach out to us if you have questions or comments. Our staff are trained. We're here to assist. We're here to answer questions. People can appeal these values. We encourage the discussion. Mike, any more comments on that from your perspective, sir?
Yeah, I think I do. We talked a lot about property characteristic data. So, you know, as we talked about earlier, when you look at your property characteristics, or you see your notice of value, and you have questions, either when you call or come into our office, or quite frankly, we even have avenues to appeal online. One of the first things that our staff will ask you is, can I please verify your property characteristics with you? As the owner, you're the best source for those. And we want to make sure that those are correct, because quite frankly, if there's some issues with those, the resulting estimate of value could have flaws. So, you know, we're going to try and check and verify those the best that we can. And it should be the first step in the appeal process with you that we take. So, the other thing that I kind of want to mention is, we're working really hard to try and utilize technology to make our website a little bit more robust. So what you're going to see is you're actually going to see a map. And if you're familiar with the map that was built for the High Chateau fire disaster, it's going to be in the same platform. But what it's going to have is it's going to have every residential sale on it in every area of Teller County. So if you want to see the market as it relates to your house, you can go on there, you can do a search, and you can pull up your house, and around it, you'll see the sales. They'll be themed, probably in a blue color, and you'll be able to actually click on those sales, and it'll take you to another page and give you property characteristic information about those sales. So we're going to try and get a lot of information out there, make it easier. I know sometimes it's tough. Taxpayers ask for a list of sales counts, and you know, I'll be honest with you, I like to see it on the map. It's visual, it's just more effective. The analysis makes more sense. So we're going to roll that out for this year. I think it's the first time it's ever been employed in Teller. I've utilized that type of technology in other jurisdictions. For me as an analyst, it's very useful. I think the taxpayers will find it to be very useful as well.
Is it online now?
No, it's going to be on May 1st. We're working on it, me and Craig Alexander, our IT director. So it should be available very soon.
And on that theme, more questions. On that theme, for those in here and online, here's our website, www.co.teller.co.us/assessor. Our phone number, if you wish to call, 719-689-2941. And we're located at 101 West Bend Avenue, Cripple Creek, Colorado. Your question again?
Where do the taxes go? Do they go to the state and then get given back to the county, or does the county get them and give some back to the state? How does it work?
That's a great question, and we'll two-step that. One of the reasons we're doing this presentation here in the library is ultimately the taxes end up funding this kind of facility. We have your mill levies. That's one of the reasons we're here. We wanted to showcase one of the shining examples in the county of what people's money goes to support. And another outreach to Michelle for running an absolutely stunning program here and in Florissant. So, next January, you will receive a letter from the Treasurer's Office, okay, based on your properties, and you'll write a check based on what you owe to the Treasurer's Office. So Mark Salusta is our county treasurer here in Teller County. So that money is going to Teller County. So your money goes to Teller County, that check will go to Teller County.
So the commissioners then decide what they do with that money? How much of it is predetermined?
Well, we have a budget right now, we're going through the budget process for 2020. And you know the commissioners as well as I do, and they're right now working on a budget for 2020. This year's budget was approximately, what was it, 31 million, 32 million? But, and I was just at the commissioners meeting this morning. They meet every other week, and those budgets are online. And I would actually encourage folks here to go to the Teller County website and look at your budget. This budget reflects your values based on the people you elect to the county commissioner seats and to the other elected seats in this county. But yeah, your money is collected and stays in Teller County. Mike, any other comments on that particular front?
I think I can add to it a little. So we have taxing districts, as we call them. And every district is made up of a number of different taxing authorities or local governments.
Such as the library.
So for example, in some places in Woodland Park, the local governments that you have is Rampart Library, the city of Woodland Park, the county, of course, Northeast Teller County Fire maybe. And all of these different local governments, the school district, levy a tax against an assessed valuation that we will report to them on August 25th as a result of all this work. So they take that assessed valuation in their budget and compute their mill levy, which will then represent, based on that formula on the last slide, the taxes in each taxing district for each property. The school levy is basically built and operated. It's the one that is unique compared to all the other taxing authorities. And the biggest reason it is the state has to backfill what isn't paid for locally to support the school. And that analysis is done based on a per student formula. So I don't know that it necessarily goes up, that's the right term. It's analyzed.
Amendment 23 requires it to go up a certain amount.
Well, it requires a per student funding and some appreciation based on the consumer price index and some other factors. The problem is, in most cases, it's always backfilled by the state because the local amount never meets the threshold of what is required. So it's one of the reasons why you've heard a lot about Gallagher and Tabor as it relates to the state budget. Because as the residential rate continues to go down to reflect the Gallagher calculation and the rise of residential real estate values relative to all other property values such as commercial or vacant land or agricultural properties, that residential rate has to be reduced because the threshold is a 45% to 55% split statewide on where property tax revenue comes from. The biggest problem is not every county has the same property mix. And the Front Range, because it has the biggest numbers, basically ends up determining what the residential assessment rate is and what that mix is. So that's why sometimes when it gets to counties, whether it's Teller, whether it's Park, Chaffee, they might not have that same mix that's representative of that split. It's one of the reasons why, and we talked about this in the other presentation, why commercial property owners in Teller County, it's tough because their assessment rate is 29% and the values change. But once again, Teller County doesn't have the same mix as the Front Range. So it can be difficult sometimes when you look at those tax dollars and you try and make sense of them and reconcile, so to speak. But anyway, I mean, I'm getting a little bit off the subject, but I'm just trying to give you some perspective. But really what Colt was telling you is correct. These taxing authorities are all in Teller. That money all stays in Teller, but it's not all county. So there's fire districts, there's ambulance districts, there's the city of Cripple Creek. And all of these districts go through their budgeting process separate of the county, but what they do is they certify their mill levy to the county commissioners in December, and they certify it to us, and we extend it and pass a tax roll to the treasurer's office for collection.
Thank you.
So that's just a summary of the process.
As we finish up here, any one last question from anybody here in the audience? Well, I'd like to say, I'd like to take another opportunity here to thank Michelle and use of the library here, and let's give her a round of applause for use of the library. And this is our plug for the library, again on May 18 in Florissant, Colorado. at the library there. Is it 9 o'clock, Michelle?
9 o'clock.
Will be a veterans breakfast. And we encourage all the folks here and all the veterans and those who support the veterans to visit that. I'd like to leave one last comment here, and I always like to throw in a little philosophy and humor. You know, the great thing about America are Americans, and I think here today the great thing about Americans are librarians. So this is a great place, and there we go. And we want to say thank you, especially to those online watching, and anybody. Again, if you have questions, you're online, reach out to us. Again, here's the data, contact us, phone number, our website. So thanks again, and have a great day.